Welcome back to the Kent Battle of Britain Museum. This is day 2 of 7 days at the Kent Battle of Britain Museum, the lead up to when we reopen next Tuesday the 18th of May. We've finally got the green light to open. The Stuart Buttle Memorial Hangar is named after Dr. John Stuart Buttle, who flew with number 48 Squadron in the Royal Flying Corps in the First World War. He had the distinction of being shot down by one of the Red Baron's men. He got shot in the buttocks, and we have his map blood-stained on show in the First World War room in the Armoury. But this is the Stuart Buttle Hangar. We erected this in the early 1990s and holds predominantly the RAF aircraft in the collection. So you have aircraft to see from Spitfires, Tiger Moth, Bolton Defiant, Hurricanes, Magister, Harvard, and we've also got a fuselage of Mesh at 110. Also in the hangar are the 15 Rolls-Royce Merlin engines, predominantly from Battle of Britain aircraft, but we do have one from a ferry battle and one from a Hurricane covering the Battle of France. This is obviously setting the scene for the Battle of Britain. Each display in the museum has recovered over 700 Battle of Britain aircraft. Each display is a personal tribute to the pilot or the aircrew of that aircraft. It also tells the story of those who shot them down. So it's a very personal story. We don't class ourselves really as an aircraft museum with the story of the men of the Battle of Britain, and there is a difference. It also means that ladies actually sometimes come in a little bit sort of apprehensive, thinking, oh God, it's just going to be mechanical, they won't be that interested. When they come, they actually realise it is the personal stories of men. They find it very interesting. We have people like Alfred Sargis alongside us. You'll actually see a cannon shell lodged in the propeller tip. He was shot down 3 times in the Battle of Britain, took to his parachute each time, and we recovered 2 of the aircraft he was shot down in. Parts of another aircraft can be seen in the operation block. We'll walk you through the hangar. Let's say each display, where possible, is photographs of the airman, the story of how he was shot down, but it's also where he was born, where he was educated, if he fell and was killed, where he's buried, but also if he survived, what happened to him in later life. So a lot of people come in here and they start seeing things that match their own lives. They may have gone to the same school he did, they may be, he crashed in a vicinity of where you live, it may be a case he's buried in your local churchyard, but it also just strikes a chord, especially when you see the age of these. The youngest we have is 18 years old, the oldest representative of the museum is 51 years old. We'll walk through the hangar. The Bolton Defiant, we were very lucky, we acquired that in 2015. Sadly, the Bolton Association had lost their premises at Wolverhampton, but this Defiant is classed as a replica, but really it should be classed as a new build. It was built in the Bolton factory on the production line. Just after they started the project, they found that a lot of the metalwork was still in the factory, so some of the actual skinning is from the original production line of the Bolton Defiant and the Balliol. This had gone to RAF Cosford. They were going to do a museum of the Midlands. Sadly, that didn't happen, which is a great tragedy for the Bolton Association, but it was a massive benefit for us. The lads of the Bolton Association are very dear friends of us. Sadly, we lost a couple of those in the last few years. But the Defiant is a very critical aircraft to show in a Battle of Britain museum, because 2 squadrons, 141 and 264, flew Defiants during the Battle of Britain. This depicts an aircraft of 264 flown by Thorne and Barker. And if you see in the turret, you can probably make out a teddy bear. Barker had a teddy bear in his turret as a lucky charm. On the 26th of August, they were being shot down by a 109. They shot the 109 down with the help of Marston from 56 Squadron. They force landed the Defiant depicting this colour scheme, and the aircraft caught fire. Barker ran back trying to get his teddy bear, but unfortunately was beaten back by the flames, and the teddy bear was destroyed in the fire. But that's a little shout out to Barker for his time in the Battle of Britain. As we walk through here, we've got engines from Bolton Defiants here, as well as Hurricane and Spitfire engines from Battle of Britain. We've got several Mark II engines. Predominantly the Battle of Britain was flown with Mark III Merlin engines, so you'll see those. We also have a Mark XII at the far end, which is coming in the latter stages of the Battle of Britain. You'll also see, just behind me, the arrows for the one-way system. So say, if you've got any fears about COVID, it's a very wide open space. The hangar doors will be fully open, so it's very well ventilated, and you've got lots of space to be away from people. So please don't be worried. You're not going to be in small confined areas, and the risk of COVID is going to be absolutely minimal here. And if we take you up to the far end, it's a display we're currently working on. This will be finished in the next 7 days. It's a display about the Whirlwind fighter. A lot of people, when you say the Whirlwind, imagine it's a helicopter. but in the late 30s, Western designed a 2-engined fighter. It was actually faster than the Spitfire. It did have a few problems, partly because it was very involved with the manufacture, but this is displayed dedicated to the Western Whirlwind. But what we are involved in, we're involved with the Western Whirlwind fighter project, and currently they're actually building a Western Whirlwind fighter. By Easter next year, hopefully, we should have behind here the fuselage and cockpit section, and it's been re-engineered, so it's as close to the original as you can get. It's going to be fantastic. The Bowser and tractor will end up outside with the Hurricanes in a big diorama scene, and we hope to actually add a scramble hut there. We've got the little car out there, but we'll show that in a video in a few days' time. But this is a little insight into the Stuart Buttle Memorial Hangar and the first building you visit when you visit the museum. Thank you for joining us. Few tomorrow, because tomorrow we're covering the Lord Downing Memorial Hangar, the building you would go into after this. Thank you very much.